Hello, Naked Parent Nation, and welcome to the Naked Parent Podcast. My name's Chad Ratliff. I'm your host, and today we are so lucky to have Dr. Bhawana with us, who is going to share her journey as a mother and a medical professional. And I'm so excited for you to get to know her. I'm excited to get to know her more. Welcome to the show, Dr.
Thank you,
Bhawana.
Chad. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for having me here. And I'm very excited to be a part of your show, and you're doing awesome job, Chad.
Oh, thank you so much. So, can you tell us a little bit about you and your journey as a mother thus far?
Okay, so let me tell you about my professional front at first. I'm a doctor, and currently I work as a consultant for HIV for University of Washington's ITEC, that is International Training and Education Center for Health. So I am a mother of a beautiful boy. His name is Kaisar, and he is a child with autism.
How
So
old?
he's 7 years old now.
And when did you know that when did you know that he was on a unique journey that might include autism?
Uh, he was little different from right from his birth. So you might have seen the neonates who actually can sleep for even 24 hours, and my boy was there who couldn't even sleep for 2 hours a day.
Wow.
So he was different right from his birth. But to speak actually about his symptoms, then probably when he was 1.5 years old. So that time I realized he was more different than what I initially thought. As a doctor, I could understand that he was different, but as a mother, I wasn't ready to accept it. I was in denial. I
Wow.
was in denial. And, I tell you, he was two when he was actually diagnosed. So my family members, my brother made me to see a doctor. You need to go and see a doctor because your child is different. And as a doctor, you to understand that he has autism. So when that final diagnosis was made, when that uh, probable diagnosis as autism came on the paper, at that time, so I went through all stages of grief, which is mentioned in our medical books. So there is some shocking news. You have that denial, then you go through the guilt factor, then anger, and then depression. I actually bypassed this stage of depression, and if at all it was there, it was for a very brief time. The depression I suffered later in my life, not at the time of his diagnosis. So then finally I came to the stage of acceptance and hope. So I went through all those stages, and now I can validate those. Since I personally have gone through those, I can validate, yes, that happens.
How long
So
how long did that take to go through those stages?
it was brief time for me, 15 days, but for my husband, in his case, he stayed in denial for longest of the time. I know, at least for 2 years, and those 2 years had been very difficult for us because I wanted to put my child on therapies, and he wasn't ready for that because he wasn't ready to accept that the child was different. So that was also a time of struggle. But finally, later, when my child became 4 years old, he realized that now he really was different. So, but ultimately, when he was two, and I put him on the therapies. So there had been tussle between I and my husband, but still I put him on the therapy, and finally we both came on the same page.
And did your husband want him to just go traditional school, regular classroom, or and no therapy, or what did he want?
See, it is a very natural, I would say, instinct as a father. He did not want to accept that he was different, and he really thought that if Kaiser spends more time with the children of his age, then probably he would start speaking and gaining all the skills, age appropriate skills. That was his thought process.
I see.
So parallelly, because I wanted him to put into the therapies, and he wanted him to put to the school where he spent most of his time with his peers.
I
So we
see.
did both parallelly,
And
so that as husband and wife we have a cooler life. So that's why parallelly we did things.
um, where are you both now currently? Are you come closer to the same page now, or
Yeah,
still
yeah,
in
yeah,
different
yeah.
places?
Yeah. So it's been more than 3 years we have been on the same page, and now he thinks that okay, so what you were telling was right, and we could probably follow as you think. So it's good
And
now.
when so once you go through the stages of grief,
Yeah.
um, do you still have struggle? You know, still struggle sometimes with the
Mm,
or or no troubles?
no, if you ask me about if there's any grief factor, so no, no. And even when I said that I went through those stages, it only because I thought I wasn't ready as a parent, because I
Oh,
had prepared myself a lot, because I am a little bit of that perfectionist kind of person. So when I was pregnant with Kaisar, so I had gone through all the material on the internet, and also I read a lot of books on parenting, because I wanted to be a perfect mother for him. But when he came in, he had his own attitude and aura, and then I realized, oh my god, whatever I had gone through was actually not of any use in his case, because so that was for certain kind of certain kind of for an example. So if your child sleeps for this many hours, then you should be feeding him, breastfeeding him after these many hours, and all those things couldn't fit in our case. So
wow.
there are, so I found a lot of differences what the parenting books talk about and what we actually need to do as autism parents, autism caregivers. So that's what I think.
Wow. So your training in the medical field isn't for autism related.
So,
Uh,
medical field talks about how to diagnose, how to manage, how to provide support, care, therapies. It doesn't talk about how to be a parent.
right. I know.
So,
That's what we talk about here, I guess. So how do you do it? So what's your secret? You don't suffer any grief or depression over your child with his autism diagnosis anymore. It's all in the past.
depression I suffered, but not because of my child's status, because uh, I have been a very, I am unapologetically ambitious person. And at the same time, I am that person since the age of 10. I always wanted to be a mother.
Ah,
Just imagine a person who is ambitious and always into thought process of motherhood.
sounds
So
exhausting.
yes, so I was at peak of my career. 3 years back it was. I was working with the best of the world, and all of a sudden then I thought, okay, so I needed to be a perfect mother. So that was the time I left my job behind. I thought I should be spending time with my child because he needs me more. So it went well for 6 months or so, but then I realized there's a huge vacuum in my life, because I wasn't doing what I love. I love to work. I am that ambitious person, whatever people call. So I don't care, and I wanted to be who I am. But at the same time, I am that mother. I have always been that mother. So then I realized, okay, if I'm not happy, then there is no use of being a perfect mother. I won't be a perfect mother in that case. So that was the biggest time, and I suffered with subclinical depression for a brief period of time. I would say 6 months, 8 months. But after that, I came out of it, and I have joined work, and I'm doing really well professionally, as well as my child is doing really well now. So we both are in happy phase. But that's what I through your platform I would like to tell the parents, those who think that they cannot manage caregiving as autism caregiving as well as their careers, then probably you need to give a deeper thought to it. So there, okay, if you are trying to think about what society says or what people around you say, then believe me, they are going to say in whatever you do, they are going to say this. If you see the post of mine, I am very active on social media. So I work around autism a lot. So I have posted a refrigerator mother's theory a couple of days back. So so that theory says that lack of warmth from mother's side is actually the cause of autism. That was a hypothesis which was later discredited. But if you see, this has been the trend in the society. Whatever happens to your child, mother is to be blamed first. The parents are blamed first. So this happens in the society. So no matter what, if you're worrying about the society, what people would say, then probably that's not the right thing to do. So first of all, be happy, be yourself first, do whatever makes you happy, and if you're happy, then your child will be happy. That's what
And
I
so
believe in.
I think that's a great message. And so you were able to find that when you followed your heart to go back to work, things
Yes.
started being in balance for you.
Yes, but I didn't go to the work which I had been doing. So I tweaked it. I joined another stream in the medical. And yes, at the end of the day, I'm again working uh, with the great people and a great organization.
What a journey. How did your husband handle the that the the different stages of your journey?
Uh, he he himself initially for 2 years. So as I told you, for 2 years almost, we were not on the same page. But he realized when he kept talking to people, and also he realized that when he tried, I have a single child, so we do not have anyone to compare. He did not have anyone to compare. So that's why he took, I think, a bit of time. But when he saw me, so there were ups and downs and ups
I
and
think it
downs.
froze for 1 minute here.
Is it?
Okay, it froze for a minute. You were saying it took him a bit of time, and then you came on the same
Yeah,
page.
we came
After
on the same page, and parallelly I was too going ups and downs and ups and downs. So he had witnessed all, and I think he also moved along with me.
he did,
He also, yeah, so he went up and went down along with me, but thankfully we have been together in this journey.
I think that's great.
Yeah.
I wish for couples out there that they figure out how to stick by each other, because
Yes, yes.
it can be a lonely journey, and when you lose the person, when you lose that person that understands intimately the relationship between the two of you and the child, you'll never be able to replace that. And
Chad, that's absolutely correct. Bang on. Because I can tell you that, and I can validate what you are saying, because those were the 2 years which I told you about initially. So where we used to have daily tussle, daily, because even I was going through some emotions, he was going through some emotions, and uh, when we were at home, then things were difficult between us because we were not understanding each other. He was into his emotional stage, I was into mine, and I was trying to figure out what all I can do. How can I manage my work? How can I manage time with Kaiser? How can I take him to the therapies? Although my husband always cooperated with the therapies, but uh, it was all about mental readiness.
what's what were some of the reasons for you being successful to move out of the depression and the grief? What do you credit to you having? Because some people never make it out. Some people live their whole lives in um, depression over the loss of what they thought they were supposed to have in their family world. So,
Chad, even I think I would not have come out had that been not because of some incidents. Once I had taken my son to the garden, and there we were waiting for the swing in the garden, the play area. So some children were playing, and Kaiser was into his usual humming, shouting, screaming self. So, and the child who was on the swing, he said some nasty thing about him, and his mother was standing behind, and she was okay with whatever he had said.
mm,
And that was a shock of my life, because see, I can understand that the small children sometimes can say nasty thing, but you being a parent, if you are okay with that, that means sometimes you are actually agreeing to what he was saying.
absolutely.
So I could feel that rage, that anger within me. I did not want my child to thrive. Forget thrive, he won't survive in such negative atmosphere. So that was the time I thought, no, I have to come out of what I was thinking, uh, come out of my shell, because I understand my child needs me, and more than my child, I think society needs to understand, not only understand, to be aware, to accept, and to have a sight of there are other people, different people. And so whatever my son was doing, it was out of his sensory needs, out of his sensory demands. And if those were being called with some kind of very nasty stuff, then I wasn't ready to take that up. So that was the time I thought, okay, I need to get out of it, I need to do something. And then I started working on, so I enrolled myself to various courses. So if I'm saying that I should not have left my job, I could have managed that thing, then I would probably also have to think of that period as a boon for me, because I could work on myself, on all the aspect of health, my mental health, physical health, my emotional health, spiritual health. I enrolled myself to the various courses, right from nutrition to fitness to the special education, and also how to handle this social media, because I'm not that a savvy person. So, and how I can create awareness, how can work around it. And that was I have even written ebook, so that is also available on Amazon, which was about self discovery through autism parenting. So I have mentioned about this phase of my life where, so that phase was very crucial, where I could discover myself. So I revived. I was a very heavy person, heavy looking person. I worked on myself. My son was he was he was completely non-verbal. Now he is partially verbal.
Wow,
So what I'm trying to say is, it didn't only help me to come out of the dark spell of my life, but it also worked in my son's favor. So
amazing.
now, you remember the neonate who didn't even sleep for 2 hours a day? Now this guy sleeps for 8 hours, nine
Really?
hours. Yeah,
Wow.
that simply
Unbelievable.
means I could even sleep.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, those many hours. So we, so I have developed a system for myself, for my family, wherein I divide my time between my work and my child, work and family. And so when I'm working, my child is in a safe hands. So we have tutor, we go to the therapies, and all those things we have done, we have created a system for ourselves, and those things are working in our favor. So that's what I'm trying to tell parents. I'm also working as a consultant, autism consultant. uh, and I have been in contact with many parents in the world. Some parents from USA, some parents from UK, and the other parts of the uh, world as well. So no matter what, which country you are from, the basic problems of ours, the special world, are similar.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah.
So the um so that's beautiful, and I'm glad that you're providing that for people, because I often for me I feel like the well-being of my child is dependent on the well-being of my emotional health. That my child
Yes.
doesn't need to change, I only need to change. So I want to promote um, self-care mostly.
Yes.
um,
Yes.
but a lot of people don't want to talk about self-care. They want to talk about the autism or whatever it is that they can't do. um, but there's no healing or growth in the the problem. The healing and the growth is inside us, right?
Yes.
um, so I love your message. I support your message full heartedly. And
Thank you so much.
can you tell us what a challenging day looks like for you and your child now? Like, um, what's a difficult day look like?
Okay, so we get meltdowns, not very often, but if I have to put it into statistics, then probably once or twice a month we get those full blown meltdowns. So sometimes the reason could be mom wasn't available for whole day, or sometimes his sensory needs are so overwhelming that he couldn't contain those within him. So but otherwise our challenges have reduced a lot. I tell you an incident which had happened some 4 5 years back before his diagnosis was made. He was, I think, 1.5 year old. So we were at a railway station. We were trying to catch a train, and so we were waiting for the train. And in India, as you understand, we have a lot of people. Whatever is your definition of lot, this is much more than that. So on the railway station, there were many of them were there, and even the vendors and people were shouting, screaming. I mean, they were having a usual conversation, but my son has auditory sensory issues, so his auditory are overwhelming. So that time I wasn't knowing because his diagnosis was yet to be made. I wasn't aware that he was having auditory sensory issues, auditory. Uh, uh, the processing wasn't proper. So that time, I remember he went into the meltdown, full blown meltdown. He was crying, he was throwing stuff around, he was rolling on the floor, and all of a sudden the people around me, they became suspicious of me. They
Mm.
thought the child wasn't mine,
Oh,
and they gathered around me. I remember eight people, 5 6 people were there, and they started questioning me. Is that child yours?
oh my
Why
goodness.
is he crying? And why is he not listening to you if
Oh my
you were
gosh.
his mother? Oh my god. I was
Oh,
so scared because I was clueless how to handle him, how to deal with those meltdowns. Thankfully today I'm very well equipped with that, but that time I wasn't knowing. So I was literally in tears, and I had my caretaker with me, and so just to he was so much into meltdown, and I was lactating then. I had to breastfeed him publicly, and I wasn't comfortable with that. So my caretaker, she put a towel in front of me so that I could comfortably breastfeed my child. And when he started taking the feed, the people around me, they realized that okay, this
ah,
child belongs to her, so leave them alone.
wow.
So that was a tough time, man. Such a
Yes.
tough time. I
Yeah.
was scared. I was into tears. I didn't know how to handle, what to do. I thought I was such a useless mother. So just imagine someone was dreaming to be a perfect mother, and she couldn't even handle the meltdown, and she had to go through the things which she wasn't comfortable publicly. So when I look back at those times and when I look at now, so I think God has been great to us. Things are improving and I'm quite comfortable. He's very comfortable with me now. So I am a self-proclaimed gypsy. I go out, I take him out. He is a traveler now. Kaisar is a traveler.
Oh,
We,
that's sweet.
yeah, we travel by train, by aeroplane, by buses, auto rickshaws, uh, bikes, cycles, and most of the time he's comfortable. Most of the time.
You sound
So
like a fun mom. You sound like a lot of fun. I bet he has a lot of fun hanging out with you.
yeah, he does. He does. He does. We are kind of buddy when we go around.
So, what are you excited about for him today and in his future? What's something you're looking forward to?
Uh, I am against the idea of putting a structure and having something very uh, rigid as his future.
Okay.
I am letting him flow, whatever he does, whatever he is comfortable with. And if serendipitously, if I discover something, okay, I can give more of exposure of something to him so that he develops his skills further into that particular area, then I'll probably look at it in that way. But as of now, I am not uh, giving any kind of structure to it, any expectations, any demands. I'm not putting any kind of demands to him.
I like that. Have you had good success with caretakers, or has it been challenging to have good caretakers to support your family?
Depending upon the person, I had two caretakers, so I know what their strength areas are and what their challenge areas are. So I allot the tasks which are suiting to their skill sets and not my expectations. So if someone is not comfortable uh, uh, with the idea of making him sit and do something, so I do not force them to do that. And there have been even times when I know that I have something very urgent and important to work upon, as my profession demands sometimes. So that time, even I'm okay with the idea. So that might sound little harsh to people, but I'm rather okay with the idea he doing nothing but in a comfortable and safe environment with someone looking after him, and I'm doing my work. So sometimes even that phases come and I'm comfortable with it.
I like that. I like that. I think that's realistic. I think um, I struggle to get caretakers sometimes because I have both my kids are not potty trained. That's challenging. People that I found, I've struggled to find. I have good people now, and it makes life um, very different for me. The difference between my life with good support and not good support is very different.
Yes, I completely agree with you. There had been times when we did not have caretakers at all. So, and my husband was away too. So that time, I and my son, we both were there. So that time too, see, you can judge me on this. I have no issues. So I had my work, my child, and I knew that there are certain things where I know if I give that thing to him, he would be object engaged. Although that stage is not encouraged, there is nothing to talk about it or promote it. But there had been times I needed to attend some urgent phone calls, make some urgent emails. So that time I knew that this is, if I give this object to him, he will be engaged to that object. And by doing that, I'm keeping him safe, and I parallelly I'm working on my task, and also he is being looked after by me. So when he sits at one place with that object, I know he's not going to move, he's not going to explore something dangerous in the house, or
Hmm.
and also he is sitting right in front of me. So I do that sometimes, and I have no qualms in admitting that,
Yeah,
because I
no,
think that's realistic thing. I'm not talking about something very ideal scenarios. I have my ways of coping up, my ways of managing, and if I'm getting good outcome, if my at the end of the day, if my child is happy and I am happy, then why not to do that?
I agree. I mean, for us, it's Blues Clues. I mean, my son has seen Blues Clues more. He's seen one episode 1,000 times, maybe. I don't even know, hundreds, hundreds. I feel bad sometimes, sometimes I don't, but I do what I do to get through. So if parent is listening to this show and they're struggling, um, what would you suggest for them?
I would rather suggest that, see, whatever time you are spending with the child, make that a quality time. So I believe in learning through play. So that not only create that bond with that child, but also you can, push your agenda. So I believe that all of us, we all parents, we have agenda, certain agenda. Okay, I so he's not potty trained, then I have to make him learn some things. So I'll do this through play, and my agenda is now clear. I have to potty train him. So through that play, you can push your agendas too. But the important point is whenever you are with your child and having that time and not working, keep your head clear of all other thoughts. When you are with your child, be with him 100%. Do not
Right,
let your mind occupied with something. Okay, what is happening? I have to send that email. No, something, someone has said something to me. That's this thing. That's clear your head out of all this clutter. When you are with him, be with him 100%. You can come out of with lot of ideas. Whatever resources you have at home, you can come out of hundreds of ideas with those, and you can work around, you can push your agenda, and without letting him know that you're pushing your agenda,
right.
you're trying to make him work. And let him smile, let him be happy. And and when you are quite occupied with your work or you're planning to do something, see, you cannot be on that quality time, quality parent mode full time,
Right.
all 24 hours. You cannot be that most efficient parent of the world. You cannot be on that mode. So you have to divide your time. So being highly, so it's like impulses. So you are giving him activities impulses, you're as a that quality parent impulses, and then you're working on yourself, on your work, or whatever you have something to do at home. And so if you go in a cyclical way, for me it works, and I'm sure it would work for others too.
Are you a good planner?
uh, I have become a better planner, that's what I can say.
Because
I mean,
what helped me was my morning routine. Because my morning routine, it gives me clarity.
yeah.
When I have clarity, then I can do the things that you're talking about. When I don't have clarity, then I'm trying to do, then it feels like there's 10,000 things that you're never going to finish. And I'm not good at any of the tasks. I'm not good with my child. I'm not good with the task. I'm not good with my business. But when I take time in the morning to get clarity, I do less, but I do it better. That's what I'm hearing when you're saying spend quality time, smaller amounts, but make it quality and deep connection. So that's been good for me. I would imagine that some of the people, the parents that you work with, that that those are some of the benefits that they realize when they work with you. Can you tell us
Yes.
a little bit about what happens for a parent when they work with you that benefits them as a parent? Or can you tell us a little bit about that relationship?
So currently, I'm working with parents whose autistic children are between the age group or below the age of 6 years old. So we are working on how to be caregiving, how a caregiving should be. So for working parents, especially working parents, how to manage your work as well as caregiving. So if I have to put it in a short, so career for caregivers, autism caregivers. So that's the concept I have been working around. And so you see, most of our kids, they are on therapies, no doubt about it. So but in the therapies, there are certain areas, there are certain goals. For an example, to making the child identify colors, yellow, red, whatever. So those are the goals. But when you are spending 24 hours with your child, those are not your goals. Your goals are making the child ready for his daily routine, to making him ready to uh, have his own meal, to brush his teeth, to wear his pants, to wear his shirts, to wear his shoes. So those are your goals. In therapies, the goals are different. So that's what I believe in. Therapists should be there. They are the integral part of the management, the care. But as parents, as caregivers, you have to be uh, trained for that. That's what I believe in. And that's the
That's
reason
great.
I went through all the courses, whichever courses were available. I went through all of them so that I could get hang of it, because I wanted to first unlearn, which I had learned through the books when I was pregnant. I wanted to unlearn that first and then learn it in an autism way.
Yes.
So yeah, so that's what I keep telling the parents, and thankfully my parents are doing well. My kids are doing well.
Sounds great. It sounds like a very real journey, and but also realistic for some parents that are just finding out, or they haven't even had their child diagnosed, but they know something. I mean, it looks like the mountain is, you know, ahead of them is too big to climb, but it's not too big to climb because you climbed it and you came out the other side, um, and so did I to some extent.
That's what you made a point when you said that you thought that when you mentioned sometime that back, that first you have to be, uh, sound as a parent first, and then you can work with your child. That's the trick. That's the mantra. So just imagine, if I'm occupied with something, if I'm feeling low, when I was in my phase of depression, I tell you, the very motto, for the very objective for which I had left my very dear thing, which was very dear to me, I had left my career to for that objective, but I couldn't do that when I was in depression.
Hmm.
I was supposed to be with my child, spending quality time all 24/7, because I didn't have anything else to do, but I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
I just used to stare the walls or
Yeah.
just be on the bed and
Brutal.
doing nothing. And
Brutal.
yeah, and telling Kaiser, just you sit here. I'm not going to look after you, man. You do this. Even I have left him object engaged for most of the time of the day, because I was into my dark spell.
Brutal.
So that's you were bang on when you said that. So, but
I,
if I'm happy, if I know that, okay, I have a time now, even when I get 5 minutes, 10 minutes, when I have my calls, back to back calls, and I get 10 minutes, I go out. I go out of the room and I go into the living room and I play with him all 10 minutes, all kind of, the full kind of, so pillow fight or throwing balls or doing things like that, where he's learning, I am unleashing. And so it works both way. So when he is happy, when I see him, my son, he has started singing now. So he has a lot of word approximations, not clear words. Like if it is, the Johnny Johnny, he would say Johnny Johnny pa pa pa, chi chi choo choo no papa, la no papa, oh papa. It is so adorable, when he sings. So these are my achievements. These are my moments. These are my proud moments when he does this. I tell you, Shad, I have been working on making him learn his personally identifiable information, his name, spelling, and phone number. When now I had been working on this, I'm still working on it. S- 2 years. 2 years. And today, if I ask him, "What's your name?" Kaija, Kaija. And I'm like, wow, oh my God, I did it.
Yes, you did.
Yes, I did it. So even even if you get 10 minutes, 5 minutes, you can work on your agenda without making him know that you're actually working on it.
I
So
love
that
that.
you can do.
I'm
That
grateful
you can.
you made it through your different stages, because you're very inspiring. You're an inspiring person, and I think that people will want to work with you because um, you have you have you exude excitement for life, and I can feel you inspire me. So thank you for that. And how do people get a hold of you if they want to talk to you about their challenges?
So first of all, thank you so much. If you think whatever I'm saying is quite making sense to you, so let me tell you that uh, all of us, all special parents, we keep inspiring ourselves, each other. So it's a, and that's how we keep going. You inspire me a lot. I have gone through the various interviews you have been conducting, and those are very inspiring. All your guests, they speak so much from depth of their heart.
Hmm.
So that's very inspiring to listen to them, to get whatever needed out of them. So thank you. You are doing a great job. Awesome. Keep doing that. And I'm so honored to be a part of your show and podcast.
Oh,
Now, coming to what you asked, how can people contact me? I am present on social media with the same name, which I had written here, Dr. Bhavna B. Shinde. I'm present on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. So they can contact me over there. I have been very active on social media. I keep posting stuff, and those are all interesting stuff. I get quite a good feedback about it. So, wherein you can see the glimpses of my personal life, as well as I also share the medical bits, the therapy bits, and the workout bits. My Wednesdays are workout Wednesdays.
oh,
So, wherein, yeah. So, since I am trained a fitness professional, so I got my training from my mentor, late Kaizad Kapadia sir, who has revolutionized Indian fitness industry. So I am actually making my son work out. So if you see my son doing plank today, so he can even sustain for more than 60 seconds.
wow,
Yeah, he does that.
wow.
And there are various workout routines we have been doing together. He does with me and he enjoys that. The important part is he enjoys that.
Yes,
So
that's great. That's
yeah.
so I will put in the show notes, obviously your name, and for people to look for you there. I'm going to look. I want to find out about Workout Wednesday and see what that's all about. And I hope you stay in touch with the show, and we can continue this journey together, from wherever we are in the world together. I would like that
Sure.
if that's
I, I I would love to.
so. Thank you for being on the show today and taking the time out. I know you're very busy, and that's part of what inspires me is how you are taking the time to come and talk to us. So thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much for having your show.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. I'll talk to you soon.
Sure. Looking
Okay.
forward to it. Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Bye.